Did you know that 90% of the world's millionaires invest in real estate? Well, I'm Angel with the Academy Presents Real Estate Investing Rocks, and I'm here to help you if you want to go for your piece of that pie.
But no, I love your vision. I love that because really you can invest with so little, really so little, and grow it quickly. So to me, that's really exciting. My heart is veterans and single moms because I've been there, not the veteran part, but we do so love our veterans. But as a single mom, holy smokes, would I have not, it would have been life-changing to me had somebody talked to me about real estate investment. I wouldn't have been able to do much, but you know what? I could have eked out $1,000 at tax time, right? And you know, if somebody had taught me about wholesaling, just the simplest things, it would have made all the difference in the world. And so, yeah, my heart is like the single moms, like build your wealth. You know, I get it. You live paycheck to paycheck, but if you can just spare a little, I can grow that for you, you know, and you don't have to worry about it.
It's kind of making me think too about like the micro loans that they were doing. I think it was in India, where it was like a $40 loan. And these women were able to buy cell phones and able to do all of these things with $40. And so I'm sitting here thinking, you know, this is almost kind of that same idea that you can get in with these micro amounts. And it's not going to grow overnight, but if you can continue to put in those micro amounts over time, you have dug your way out of that paycheck to paycheck scenario.
Absolutely. And regardless, you're still making more than your savings account. You're still making more than a CD. So if you put a micro amount in a savings account and you think that you're going to, you know, get anywhere with that, you're just doing yourself a disservice, you know, and yeah. And so it's fun for me. Like this is super addicting to me to, you know, teach and get people excited, and I get excited, and you know, I love it. I want to see everybody win. I really do. Like I have no contempt or jealousy about anybody in this business. I want us all to win. And if I can help single moms, veterans, you know, the first responders, anybody to get ahead and win, like I'm all about it.
That was for me. Yeah, we had our summit just I guess a couple weeks ago now, and one of the things that I said was, you know, when one wins, we all win, because it's we love to see people succeed, especially if we help them succeed. Right. That's like a huge pat on the back. But just in this space in society, when one person is made better off, everybody is made a little better off. And it's really hard to see that on like such a large scale. But I mean, it's called, you've got like these positive externalities, and that's what knowledge is considered. The more knowledgeable a society is, the more likely they are to continue passing on that knowledge. And so the smarter a society is, the better off they are. And you can't really not share knowledge. So it becomes that positive externality. So there's not a cost associated with it. It's if you look at it from the negative externality side of it. So a negative externality would be with production, you get pollution. Pollution is a negative externality because it imposes costs on people that aren't benefiting from what's causing it. But with education and with learning, people benefit from it that weren't involved with the cost of attaining it. So that's kind of
awesome.
Yeah, so that's the difference between the two. It's your economics lessons for the day. But it's that's why I say when one succeeds, we all succeed, because eventually we're all going to benefit from the knowledge gained. If those people are in our circle and who we're surrounding ourselves with, and even if they're not, because the knowledge will eventually disperse across really broad regions. So I guess it's kind of like a virus of learning.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but it's really okay to educate yourself, to learn. Like, I think that, man, I don't even know if we're just lazy as a society, or we just expect other people to do it for us. Like, I don't know, but like, good luck. My younger son, good luck trying to get him to read a book or teach him anything. And I just don't understand that, you know, and so, you know, I feel like the younger kids are kind of like coming into that. Like, there's just, they just, will do it for me. Here's my money, just do it for me. No, I want you to learn how. I want you to learn how. What if something happened to me? Do you know? And this is the same even with my investors. If something, heaven forbid, happened to us, do you know what to do next with your money? If I'm not growing it for you, can you do this on your own? So I want them to learn, and I want to give them the connections. These are people that are okay to work with. This is who's going to grow your money. Stay away from these people, so yeah.
So
it's
we
fun.
just got through doing 75 hard, my husband and I.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had 2 start overs. It took me 95 days.
Yeah.
And then we were so close to 100. My husband's like, let's just do 100. And then when we got to 100, I was like, well, I need to do 102 because I had 2 mess ups. So I had to start over twice.
Mm-hmm.
So we wound up doing 103 days. But one of the things that Andy Frisella talks a lot is just that participation trophy mentality. And I think that kind of comes back to like this idea that somebody's going to do it for me and I'm still going to get my trophy at the end.
Right.
So we've, I know that my husband and I, we've tried really hard to not do that. It's hard when I watch my 12-year-old going through things that I just want to fix for her. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to not just fix them for her. And my husband's like, no, she needs to learn. She needs to learn how to get out of this. She needs to learn how to fix this on her own. And I'm like, but I can fix it for her so much easier because I hate to see her hurt and I hate to see her cry. But at the same time, if we're always fixing other people's problems, they're never going to learn. And it's just going to, it's just going to cycle. It's going to continue and continue and continue. And, but it's hard.
It is hard. And we're really doing them a disservice when we do take over. And I think that's just a parent. We love our kids. We want to protect them and shield them. And, but, we just, they have to have that freedom to mess up on their own too, and you just got to be there to pick up the pieces.
And like thinking about it in terms of like being in charge of someone's investment. So you're in charge of their dollars and thinking of it as they're kind of like your kid and you have to teach them how to fix things if things go bad and you're not around. I mean, that's, that would be a mentality that you'd have to kind of wrap your head around too, because if you're not very successful at it as a parent,
no, those are 2 different things. Okay. So you can totally blow it as a parent and be a great money investor. Okay. I'll just tell you that from experience. Right. So, it's just, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and you can't cross those over. They're just different things. You can, like, I'm not a good employee. I'm a terrible employee. Right. But I can run my own business pretty darn well. Right. And so, you just have to be where your strengths and weaknesses are. You just can't cross them over. You can't say, well, I blew it as a parent, so I'm going to blow it as a business owner. No, kids are bad. Okay. I don't care what kind of good parent you are. Your kids are bad. And that is not your fault, right? You taught them how to make good decisions and they made bad decisions. You can't take that to bed with you. I'm just like, my kids are bad. My one kid is good. One is bad. I'm working on him. He's going to be fine in the long run. But, I don't let people blame me for his decisions. And I love him so much because I feel like I've done so well in teaching my kids to take responsibility for themselves. He'll tell you, I made those decisions. It wasn't my mom's fault. It wasn't my dad's fault. I made those decisions. And I really do love and respect him for that, even though he makes bad decisions. But I think that's in everything. If you mess up as an investor, make it right. It's just that easy. Like none of us are perfect. None of us are Jesus. I'm surely not. I could very well mess up. And I have messed up. And I took a hit personally, financially, to make sure my investors were made whole. And I was honest with them. I blew it. I hired a bad contractor. We got robbed. Whatever things happen. Life happens. But if you're honest and you're transparent in all things, it's okay. It's forgivable. Fix it. Just fix it. Just make it right. Take responsibility. Make it right. Fix it. Move on.
Yeah, you're really highlighting that idea too that so many people talk about, just the importance of relationships and being your true self and being upfront and being honest. But that's, I'm sitting here thinking like, my husband and I are looking at getting probably a quad hopefully we can do a lot split and get a quad and a duplex on a lot that I have back home. But like, I think I know who we're going to use as the construction company, but it's because we have a really good relationship with them. There's another company that wants to bid it, and even, you know, if they came back like substantially lower, I would think about it a lot more. But the trust that I have with the other construction company, it could constitute a little bit of a higher price just because I know them, and I hope they're not listening.
Right. And well, here's the thing. Like, I will pay more to know that I'm protected, right? So did I really save any money if I hire this other construction company and they rip me off? I didn't save any money. I lost money. So I am a firm believer in just pay for it. Like, I will pay ridiculous interest rates to build trust for people that don't know us. It costs me money, but what does it do for me in the long run, right? So, you know, how many times will these people recycle their money with me and tell their friends and tell their family? So it's a cost of doing business. And I would just say, you know what, we're going to pay more, but we're going to make it up in the back end anyway, right? And we know, like, you can sleep at night. Like, what is that? You know, what kind of price tag do you put on that? And
Peace is priceless.
so, yeah, so just be careful. You know, just, you know, again, it's just, what does your gut say? You know, what's smart? You know, if it's, you know, somebody's ripping you off, but they're reliable, you know, like they're overcharging, but they're reliable, and this guy's, you know, it's, you know, you just have to weigh your options.
Yeah. So I know of another friend of mine that she's self-directing her IRA, but she's doing it with a company that they just do turnkey single family homes.
Mhm.
Are you familiar with that process, like how it works? Or
I'm not. No, I know the basics of most of the other retirement companies, but not enough to say. Like, I can say, you know, I can tell you all about mine, but I can't say anything, you know, about the others, or, you know, what that consists of. I haven't heard of it. Doesn't mean they're not awesome. Doesn't mean don't invest there, but I would definitely have to, you know, read up on them myself and before I gave an opinion.
Yeah. So let's back up and let's talk about yours. So if someone were to do the self-directed IRA and then invest with your company, you said you had like rehabs, and are they buy and holds that you do, or?
These particular ones are. So I have investors that will not invest in our buy and holds. So the buy and holds, again, it's a long play game, right? It's more money, but you're kind of locked in at 5 years. That's really, we buy both portfolios that we have right now, we bought subject to 0% interest. And so, you know, we don't want to lose that 0% interest. That's pretty phenomenal.
Wow.
So, but we have some investors that they will not play the long game. They want 6 months in and out. And so for that, if we want to keep their money in play, which we do, we'll do fix and flips. I hate fix and flips. I hate them, but we'll do them, you know, and so we do a little bit of everything. We do, you know, we had these portfolios. I never said I would be a landlord. I didn't want rentals. You can't say that you're not going to do things, because that's just opening the door for whatever it is you don't want to do. So now we have rentals, and we buy houses subject to and wrap them, owner finance them. And then of course we have the multifamily. So it's just, what are your terms? What are your goals? And what do you want to accomplish? And then we cater your terms and your goals to our deals.
So did you just say that you get like portfolios of subject to?
Yeah. Yep.
That blows my mind, because like I've kind of been scoping out subject twos, because like Mary will attest to, we've had 2 different presentations in our local real estate investment club that talk about subject to. And so I was kind of playing around with it. I knocked on a couple of doors, which was crazy scary, because we just use a realtor usually or we're passive. And so I'd never knocked on the door. I mean, I'm not I don't intimidate easily, and it still freaked me out a little bit.
Oh yeah, I
But it was
hate
like,
it.
people are just like, no, what are you talking about? And then
Mhm.
even my realtor was like, oh, well, there's a due on sale clause. And I was like, okay, so I just didn't go anymore with that, with him on talking about subject too. But they're hard to find, and you're getting like whole portfolios, and that just, like, I'm having a hard time with that.
It's just it's really honest. It's a God thing. Sorry to anybody that's not religious, but that's absolutely what it is. And we market. We didn't mean to market for them. In fact, the first portfolio we bought was for a lease option marketing. And they loved the thought of lease optioning. They had 5 houses that were vacant. They've been vacant for years. They were inundated with investor marketing. And they said, and what does every investor say? What do we love to say? I'll buy it fast cash. I have cash and we'll close fast.
Yeah, we can close in 24 hours.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. That they did not want to hear that, because they didn't want fast cash, right? They don't want to have, $400,000 in their account right now. They're in their 80s. They just want a couple $1,000s a month to live for the rest of their lives. And when I sent the lease option marketing, that's what appealed to them. They wanted the monthly income. And we said, sell us this portfolio, complete accident, 0% interest, and we'll pay you the, $2,000-$3,000 you want every month consistently. And that's what they wanted. And so it's like, we want to do what everybody else does. Like, what kills me is nobody sat down and asked them, what do you want? What do we have to do to make this deal work? And complete accident, but that's the question we asked. Like, wow, okay, then what do you want? It wasn't a good lease option because they weren't turnkey. They need extensive rehab. So it didn't work, but we still gave them kind of the same premise. And then the next wave hit. We don't even have this first one completely funded yet. We own them, but the rehabs aren't completely funded. And now here's this other set of, a 7-house portfolio. And it's the same thing. We said, it worked. Let's try it again. Sure enough, he's like, I just want the monthly income. I'll sell them to you, all 7, at 0% interest. And you just pay me my money. Okay. So, but what we did differently on the second one.
That just blows my mind.
What we did do differently on the second one, because we found, because this is such a great deal. Like, when at the end of 5 years, like, we're going to make somewhere around $500,000 to $600,000 off these houses. I'm willing to share that with somebody who would just fund the rehab, right? Just give me $100,000 for 5 years, and I'll give you $200,000 back. But nobody wants second lien, right? That second lien thing, like, we're all trained. Second lien is bad. Second lien is bad.
Exactly, scary.
But some of these houses are paid off. Do you know what I mean? So I get it that second lien is bad, but what if we put you on first lien on the 2 that don't have liens, I guess, does that work? On the 2 that are paid off, and then as they get paid off, we'll add you, so I don't know terms, but it's people's money. $100,000 is a freaking lot of money to not feel 100% secure. So the second wave, we learned that we asked the owner if he would please take second position. We know this guy though, and we've taken care of him, and we spend kind of life with him, but we asked him if he would please take second lien position on all the homes. And so we can allow a lender to come in and have first lien position. So again, you mess it up and you fix it the next time.
Wow. So you're agreeing to, like, pay them out their $2,000-$3,000 for what period of time?
5 years. 5 years. So in 5 years on both portfolios, everything will be paid off, and we will decide then what to do. We're either going to refinance everybody, refinance the portfolio, cash everybody out, keep the renters in place, or rehab them one last time and sell them off piece by piece, at ARV value and pay everybody off. So it just depends where we are in 5 years. Do we want to keep these rentals here in San Antonio? I don't plan on living in San Antonio forever. But that's what management companies are for. So it just depends like where we're at in 5 years and what are our goals. And I kind of think like, I know that I'm going to be at a place in 5 years that it's kind of my heart to, if there's a new investor that is like, man, I'm just trying to make it, I'm right there. I just want to make it. And I'm like, here, buy this portfolio at discount and have, start your rentals. So, we'll just see where we're at. But everybody at the end of 5 years, everybody gets cashed out.
Wow. I just had another idea pop in my head. I mean, it's not really a new idea, but like, I'm thinking like a band of teachers, if they would get together and pool their money and then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And just make sure that your JV agreement is solid and that, the terms are, ironclad.
Yeah. My fear would be that somebody would invest in, not necessarily a JV with the teachers, but just like somebody would invest into something, period, and then have an emergency come up and they didn't hold back enough to cover the emergency and they don't have good credit or they don't have another avenue to take care of that emergency. And if they were a friend, it could potentially destroy that friendship.
Sure. So we're very upfront. We make sure that they understand implicitly your money is locked up for 5 years. You cannot get it back. We never take 100% of anybody's money. Like if it's an old 401k that's been sitting there and there's 100 grand in it, yeah, we're going to take all of your 100 grand if you should so give it to us. But if it's a single mom and she has, 10 grand in savings, that's all the money she's got, we're not taking that. We'll take 5 of it. We'll take 3 of it, but that other 5 or 7, it needs to sit there. You need to have that for emergency /fund. You need to, we would never, ever take 100% of anybody's money that they would need for an emergency. We wouldn't do that to the elderly. We wouldn't do that to single moms, our veterans. We make sure we know that this is extra money or money that was already locked up in a 401k anyway. They couldn't touch it for 5 years anyhow. So why not grow it big? So we're very careful about that.